Dynamite Delight. A lot of backstabbing. That's what we got in this show. Is everyone going to agree with that? No. They'll say there was a tremendous amount of backstabbing, but it was pretty good. Okay, I got to start this first. I'm going to do this now because I might as well. I don't want to make a Gump report on it. I'm doing an Eli Drake video after this. Yes. LA Knight. I'm doing a video on him. AKA Eli Drake. My boy, my Eli Drake boy. Yeah, that sounds so bad. But I will be doing a video on him. But I got to address this first. About the t-shirt and about Britt Baker with the black eye. And what they said on Twitter saying that AEW actually promotes domestic violence. Really? Really? Saying AEW promotes domestic violence when legitimately we saw Britt Baker get nailed in the eye with the damn kendo stick and a fist. Now, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying to promote domestic violence because people like to twist people's words so much on Twitter and on YouTube as well. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that people are stretching it. But I do agree with JD. Not just Alex. Because he did play it up a little bit too much. Let's make it clear. There's a difference between how JD saw this and just Alex saw this. He played a little too much, and that's just Alex. I understand that he has his own style, how he does his own show. So does JD. But it can come off as screwing around too much. I take JD's side of it. But I want to make it clear, they're both saying the same thing. They don't agree with what happened. What they said on Twitter and what Saraya as well as Britt Baker tried to do. Now, let's make this clear. Flat out. Is domestic violence right? No. Was AEW promoting it? No. Did they make a big mistake letting that picture get printed on a t-shirt? Yes. Should have stayed, like JD said, on Dynamite, Rampage, or any AEW show. Yes, to promote the storyline. But should have been put on a t-shirt? No. For one simple reason, as people like to twist stuff out of control. Look, Britt Baker was right. And was it Britt Baker or was it Saraya? Either one of them. They're both right. Either one of them, if it was one of them. If a man had this done, would anybody complain? No. How come it's us? They're right. It's not fair. It's a double standard. But guess what? Due to the fact how things are these days, where women's empowerment means a lot, which I'm not against. I was raised by my mom more than my father. So I'd rather see a woman get ahead and show that she can do just like a man any day. But in this day and age, where instead of it making equal, where men made it unequal before, now the women have now gone and reversed the shit, and it's just as bad. They're making it over-publicized. I'm sorry. It's the same thing. But JD is right. If a guy in the street like myself walked down the street with a Britt Baker shirt that had a black eye on it, they thought I whooped my woman's ass and wanted to show off. That is how we would see it. But since there is still no 100% equality, no matter if the men decide to be on top, or in this case, women want to be on top, that is the reason why the society is acting the way it is today, very oversensitive, and want to choose someone out by just saying the wrong thing. This is what you get. You're not going to get equality, baby. And I'm saying that to Britt as well as Saraya. You should get it. Because in pro wrestling, if a guy does it, it shouldn't matter. We know what it means. Unless it's a murder scene, it's wrestling. But we're not getting it. There's a double standard for the women. I'm not agreeing with it, but until things get better, it's the way it is. Deal with it, both y'all women. Now, let's go on to Dynamite. I had to say that. I'm sorry it took so long. Now, opening. 8-man tag. We got the JS versus Adam Cole, Robert Strom, And we get Bandito along with a little bit of Orange Cassidy. We get a little bit of a mix there. Good match. Do I like seeing 8-man or 10-man tags often? No, I don't. But it was a good match. In the end, we did get the faces winning. That is everybody with Adam Cole, at least until Adam Cole decided after the match was 100% over, because you see Chris Jericho on commentary. The minute that match was over, he ran his ass up the hill, up the ramp, and then tried to whoop some ass, which he did. He started wailing on top of Chris Jericho because of women calling him a son of a bitch, and security had to grab Adam Cole, more like Adam Savage, because he wouldn't whoop that ass. A little bit of Adam Cole making it show and making it clear that he wants Chris Jericho for what happened to his woman. No problem. And seeing Chris Jericho come out in that shirt again, which perfectly fits the context. If anybody says right now, dude, that's still not right, they're showing it on the show, it's about domestic violence. No, it's not. She got nailed in the face by one, nearly a fist to the face, and to a certain extent, she also got hit in the head with a candlestick also. That's not about domestic violence. If you want to make it about domestic violence, go find someone else to talk about it, because they ain't going to be held here. I'm saying it right now. If you're trying to make this about domestic violence when it isn't, I'll basically delete your message. I'll delete it, because it should not be there. It's stupid. Because this is part of the show. It was women who beat up on her ass. It was not a man, so shut up. I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you how it is. Let's move on. Next, we got Saraya versus Willow Nightingale. No problem. We don't see Saraya much in the ring. We don't. At least on Dynamite or Rampage. Maybe on Dark or Dark Elevation, she is still wrestling, but we don't normally see her on this show. We don't. So when she does ever wrestle on the main show, it's cool. There's no problem with me. She's not oversaturated. She's mainly been working with Ruby Soho and Toni Storm. She's basically been the manager most of the time. But whenever she needs to wrestle, she can still wrestle. She's not weak and injured. She can still go. Now, I don't know if she's been doing it on... Well, I haven't seen Dynamite. Well, not Dynamite. I haven't seen Rampage the last week. I missed that. I missed it. But if she's been working Dark and Dark Elevation, there's no problem. That means she's still staying in shape. And it's mainly there. Not everyone sees her there. So seeing her here is fine. I'm not surprised I had to cheat to win. I'm not surprised. What did surprise me, when Hiro Kushida, that gorgeous Japanese, Soji, ran, I believe that's what they call him, ran out and then did something I wasn't fond of, and then turned around and did something I wasn't 100% fond of, but it's understandable. She comes out, she faces the Outcast, and she hugs a Saraya. And I'm going like, are we going to get a Shida turn and maybe finally getting some more character development? I'm all for it. I'm actually quite surprised. I won't say I wasn't. I was actually kind of surprised. I would have thought she would join the OGs, because she's been there almost the entire time. She did come in around, 2020, nearing 2021? Because she wasn't there immediately when they first opened the door. She was there around 2020 to 21, I believe, if I remember correctly. Somewhere in the late 2020 into early 2021, I believe 2020, somewhere mid to late, when she started working in AEW. So, seeing her there was kind of a surprise. Seeing her there on the side of the bad guys was kind of good, but she basically was just tricking them, because what did we get? Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter coming out. She's holding the spray because they gave her one, and they whooped that ass, and they sprayed AEW on him. Well, she sprayed AEW on him. Fine. I would have liked to see her be a heel, though. I'm not going to lie. We don't always get a heel turn from the Japanese wrestlers due to the fact we rarely see the Japanese wrestlers. That's one of the major problems with the women. The women, look, when it comes to Japanese female wrestlers, they don't book them correctly. They don't take enough of their actual character that's built in Japan and combine it with American booking. They don't. They leave them mostly like Japanese booking, and that's where they make the biggest ass mistake. You can't combine a little bit of the both and try to make something from it. There's the major problem for me personally. If they had done this and then let Hiroko Shida, who does speak English, allow her to build her character and make her into something where eventually she can turn back to a face. I don't care. But it would have been something interesting, but we didn't get it. We didn't get it. She's now on the OG side, which is understandable. Now you got 3-3. I want more. Give me a Selena Deeps on not on the OGs, but on the Outcast. She's a heel. She's a professor if she's still wrestling, which I know she probably is. Why not? Put Madison Rayne on the Outcast. Because she was part of Impact Wrestling. She can actually mention it on there. Like, I was in another show for years, and I went to that other show and was treated like crap, and I was brought here, and look, I was still treated like in the other show because look, I am just a damn trainer. I'm sick of this. I'm joining the damn Outcast. That would be fine. And if they mention the WWE, that'd be great. If they mention Impact Wrestling, that'd be great. That would go with Madison Reigns. It would go with a character. Why not? I'm not saying she's the greatest wrestler. It's not that. We're talking about building a story between the Outcasts and the originals from AEW. You need more women. You got them on the damn roster. Use them. Damn it. Let's move on. The House of Black talked about an open house, which will be interesting because we did get the Battle Royal, which I'm going to talk about next. They said anybody who survives this, whoever becomes next in line, you must go for the open house. 1, we set the rules to a certain extent, but you can have the terms of the step. You do not get any, what was it they said? No rope breaks and only a 1 count. Anything else can go. If you run away though, you're out as well. That's a little interesting. Particularly now that we know who won that match for the Trios Battle Royal. I can't remember what they call them in Spanish. Everybody was in there. In the end, what did we get? We get the Acclaimed winning with a daddy ass in tow. So they're trying to go for the Trios title, which, you know what? Due to the fact of how over they are and that they've been in the tag team for a while, I don't mind the Acclaim going into the Trios title picture from now on. Let them move away from the tag title, go into Trios, that'll be another team. I really want to see what's going on with Death Triangle, but there is no Death Triangle because I haven't seen anything from Pac. We have seen the Lucha Brothers, who currently are the ROH champs, but what are we doing with Pac? I want to see that. That's just me, you guys, down below. Now, we did get a vid pack from the firm reaffirming that they will have their match at the Hardy compound and having an ultimate, well, not ultimate deletion match, but a deletion match to see who owns the Hardy contracts, along with Cassidy. No problem. I've now seen, 3 deletion matches set up from Impact Wrestling and WWE, and now we're getting one in AEW. Let's make this clear. Is it going to be outlandish? Yes. Will it be fun? Yes. Will there be some violence there? Yes. I'm one of the few people who saw the deletion match and believed that it was one of the best things that Impact ever produced. I even said when Matt Hardy did the Broken Brilliance gimmick, I was one of the few who said they got something. He did something unique, and everybody said it was garbage. And look what happened. People loved it. WWE was willing to imitate it, and now AEW is going to be doing it here. That's something I'm glad to see. Also, the Don Callis and Kenny Omega segment. Well, in the back. I believe it was the last show, and Kenny was in it, and he was angry. He wants Moxley. He wanted to rip Moxley's head off. And he made it very clear, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to see it. Now, this was recorded after Moxley was with the Blackpool Combat Club and spoke of what they spoke about the steel cage, which we'll get to in a minute. But I want to make it very clear. I don't think I'm putting any images, unless it's a thumbnail, and I might put it in the thumbnail, of Don and his scar. You can see the scar right here. And the way he spoke, he spoke like he was actually angry. which helps the story. Now, was he really angry at Mox? Probably not. He didn't blame her for that. He didn't know that the tripod was that close, but you heard the ding as I did. I knew when I heard that ding, as I said in my video before, I knew he got hurt. There's no way that ding was good. But he tried to make it mean something, having real emotion. I'm sure he was not happy getting that crack in a possible cracked skull, and a questionable cracked skull with some complications, as he said. I'm fine with that, because that goes along with the story that's going to go in the steel cage. Now let's go to the Blackpool. Well, it was not Mox who talked immediately. It was a Bryan Danielson who made it very clear. You know, long ago someone said, I am the best. And I'm hearing him say Bret Hart's line, and then said he's nothing but trash, and I'm better than him, due to the fact that he knows he's the best in the past, the best there is, the best there was, but he does not believe he's the best that ever will be, because he made it very clear that the men behind me are the best if I'm not. And one of them, I know if he applies this little shit, and he's talking about Yuta, he will be the best, well after me. I at least admit that I am not going to be the best forever. There's always going to be someone better, but at least I know the ones that's going to be doing, because the Blackpool Combat Club has the best right now. And when Mox talks saying, blades sharpen blades, I'll say it like this, that when Mox spoke, and I'm thinking about Kenny Omega going against Mox, do I believe that this is going to be better than the last match I believe they had before? Because they did have a match before by themselves, and I think it was in New Japan. I know they had some in AEW, but I'm thinking about New Japan, when Mox had left, and eventually did work, I believe, with Kenny. I'm thinking, will this mean something more than what they had in New Japan Pro Wrestling? I don't know. That was a different type of situation after the era of the Covert. Will it mean something more? I'm kind of wishing it did, particularly that it should be at the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is only a couple of weeks away. I'm kind of wishing they would wait until the pay-per-view to do the steel cage match. I do believe this is a misstep. This is not the wisest thing to do next week. I believe they should wait until the pay-per-view and do it there. But I'm guessing because they're worrying about the Pillars match, that's why. And I'm spoiling it. It's just the way it is. Now, what did we get with Wardlow destroying Elaru? Not much. But what we got afterward was, you thought it was Luchasaurus. I thought it was Luchasaurus. It should be Luchasaurus. But then, I'm kind of glad it isn't Luchasaurus, because it's now going to be Christian, because this entire setup was not for Luchasaurus, it was for Christian. So that kind of makes me happier than feeling a little disappointed, because if Wardlow was going to destroy Luchasaurus, I'm not going to be happy about that, because Luchasaurus, for so many years, many people wanted him to either get ahead as a face or be destructive as a heel, and he's been none of that. None of it. He was sacrificed for Jungle Boy. I'm sorry, he was. And then when Jungle Boy wasn't there, and instead of pushing him, they didn't. He was mostly probably on Dark and Dark Elevation. Nothing for him. So if this is a destruction, I'm fine with Christian taking a hit for Luchasaurus. But then I'm like, if they're going to be like this with Luchasaurus, that leaves me no faith that they're going to do anything with him. Anything. And I'm kind of thinking, if they're not going to push him, and they're just going to let him job out to people, I want him to leave. I want him to leave AEW. Not go to ROH, because there's no guarantee you'll get anywhere anyway. Because remember, it's still under the AEW umbrella. I'd rather see him go over to Impact Wrestling. I'm being honest here. No guarantee he's going to be pushed well, but I'd rather see him go to Impact than stay here. And I will be doing a video on Naomi when she does appear, because I'm going to bench AEW for a moment. I gotta say this. I did see a couple of videos about Naomi. My Trinity Fatu. I did see it when she appeared and when they spoke, well, when she spoke on Chicago's, the show in Chicago, talking about how it feels to be an Impact. I will be doing a video after she appears, not before. I want to know how Impact is going to book her and how they're going to be presenting their show, because remember what I said in my last video, it was unwatchable due to the fact of bad management in their production. This is a big question for me. Now, back to AEW. We did get a video of the... Let me give it to you like this. The Briscoe compound, just like the Hardy compound. We got to see a little bit of Singh, a little bit of Duff, a little bit of Lethal, a little bit of Ruff. In other words, a Double J Jeff Jarrett on the farm, basically doing some work. And then Big Daddy of the Briscoes seeing Mark and saying, "What? I got no problem with you and Jay, that's your friend. But keep an eye on those guys." He said, "Which one?" And that's Mark. He says, "The one in the overall." He says, "Which one?" Because Singh as well as Duff are wearing overalls. He says, "Both of them." Oh, that was funny. I'm sorry. It may be simple, it may be corny, but it was still funny for me personally. But they did say they want to challenge FTR for the titles. And that's not Jay and Mark. It is Jay and Double J. Let's see where they're going to go with this. I'm still by the great spirit of the earth, I want Double J and Jay Lethal to win. You know why? I'm making it clear. There's a reason why I want to see Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal win, because I want to see the Slug Daddy on YouTube pissed off beyond no end and do again what we all loved about Off the Ropes Show and Off the Ropes Show Central. Assume Jeff Jarrett position. I want that back so bad. I want to see Double J win the titles. I want to see Jeff Jarrett piss off Slego, that Slug Daddy himself, and he has to come back and do assume Jeff Jarrett position. I want it. That's just me. I'm sorry. I'm being greedy. I don't care. I'm being greedy. Now, we did get Juice versus... I kind of wish this means a little more. I know they're doing a little bit of an angle when it comes to Shawn Spears working with Ricky Starks. I got no problem with it. Seeing Shawn Spears back as a perfect 10 is fine. Ricky Starks working fine. But they need something extra in it. I don't know what it is. I think it might need a title. I think they really need to be in a title situation for it to mean something. Or there's got to be a stipulation that's going to be meaning something when it comes to Bullet Club Gold. I believe that's what it's called right now, between Jay and Juice. In the end, we know Ricky won, and since Spears wasn't there, he had to deal with it all by himself. Ricky managed to get ahead a little bit, and almost managed to do Ron Shambo on Jay White. And that's next week, they're going to have that match, so kind of wish there was something extra. That's just me. Hopefully they'll build up to it. Finally, next to the little backstabbing we got earlier when it came to Hiro Kushida to the Outcast, we now get the Four Pillars match. Well, it's not the Four Pillars match per se, it's leading to the Four Pillars match at the pay-per-view. We're getting Sammy and MJF versus a J-Boy, Jungle Boy, and a Darby Allin. If Darby and J-Boy win, they're in that fatal four-way. But if they don't, Sammy is going to get the shot at doing the finger poke of doom, getting paid, and MJF retains his title at All Out. Now, I'm not going to lie here. The match was fine. I was alright with it. And the ending was what it's supposed to be. You see Sammy finally realizing he's getting screwed over and used, and he finally let MJF have it. And then J-Boy and as well as Darby Allin not trusting anybody. Look what happened. Jungle Boy did get the final pin. Almost. Because he nailed Sammy. But in the end, I believe it was Sammy. But in the end, the coffin drop won the match. More than just Jungle Boy getting the pin. For me personally, I'm not going to lie here. I kind of wanted it not to happen. I kind of wanted them not to win, even though I expected them to win. The backstabbing between Jungle Boy as well as, well, the mistrust from Jungle Boy and Darby Allin happened because of MJF coming to talk to Jungle Boy, trying to screw with him, and making it a little bit of controversy. And then eventually in the match, you can see all four of them not trusting one another. But I'm not going to lie. Do I actually want to see the finger poke of doom not actually happen, but actually happen? No one has done the finger poke of doom for real in so long. No one ever expected it. But I'm kind of wanting it. Even though it's stupid. And it was dumb when they did it in WCW. But it's become so infamous that no one would ever think of ever doing it again. Ever. But here I kind of wanted it. I'm not going to lie. If Darby Allin did not use the coffin drop when Jungle Boy already did the job and then Darby did an extra job, I kind of want to see that at the pay-per-view. I want to kind of see MJF, who paid off a Sammy Guevara, go hits the ground. 1, 2, 3, he wins, and everyone gets pissed. Now, I'm kind of hoping they do that in the match, but it won't happen because there's going to be four of them in there. It's not going to happen. But if it had happened and Sammy did this, there would be so much controversy. It would really make it interesting TV. Doesn't mean it would be right, but that's just me, guys, from below. And I hope you enjoyed this Dynamite Delight. Please give me a comment below. I am filming my LA Night video right after this. I probably will either release it this Friday or Monday. Don't know yet. Peace.